On the night of the NBA All-Star Game, college basketball is front and center, but not for a good reason. Michigan Wolverines coach Juwan Howard slapped Wisconsin assistant Joe Krabenhoft after a game in which Wisconsin beat the Wolverines 77-63. Let's take a look at the footage. So this was the scene after the 77-63 beatdown. Pun intended. Here it comes. Oh, he said something. Now he even moved his mask there. I wonder. Oh, we got some finger pointing going on. We gotta back it up right away. Now, we don't have to think about what Juwan said because we have the luxury of being able to hear it straight from him.
I didn't like the timeout being called, and I'll be totally honest with you. I thought it was, not necessary at that moment, especially being a large league. And then for to have the timeout be called with 3 seconds, 4 seconds to go, I thought that was, what I felt wasn't fair to our guys, and so that's what happened.
But my goodness, he is coming in here with some heat. Yeah, I'm going to remember that, is what he says. He moves his mask, says, I'm going to remember that.
Well, basically, I addressed with the head coach that I will remember that.
Now, what we're looking for, he's claiming that coach is touching him first. He claims that guard touches him first. And we'll see where he makes that claim. I'll be able to back all this up.
For someone to touch me, and I think that was very uncalled for him to touch me as we were verbalizing and communicating with one another. So that's what ended up happening, and that's what escalated. Yeah. Touching me unnecessary wasn't cause for that when we were talking. And at that point, I thought that was, time to protect myself.
I do see his left hand on his arm there. Okay, is that what he's talking about? Because he's kind of just doing classic handshakes to everybody. I do see a little bit of a left arm shove. Now they're getting into it. They've both put their hands on each other at this point. But here's where we get Coach Krabenhoft jumping in. He's the guy who's going to get smacked. Oh, there it is. Boom. There is the smack. Whap. Oh, and you hate to see it. So obviously that is unacceptable behavior. Now, we're going to get into the details of why this happened. But make no mistake that nothing we discuss will excuse what just happened there. It should go without saying, but especially when leading a group of young men, a college basketball team or a college sport of any kind, you're looked at to lead by example, and it's safe to say that smacking someone in the face is never the right example. And it doesn't just go for young men. Bruce Arians. Alright. Don't be smacking people in the head. That's kind of stupid. And one last time, let's see. One for the road. The slap heard around the world that will likely cost Juwan Howard his job. Makes you wonder what was said that caused that reaction, because obviously this was an escalating situation. It continued to get worse and worse, but what was said that made him reach across and slap somebody? This whole thing gets very, very hostile. He's got security guards holding him back. Both teams are completely involved. So when you hear him explain himself, this is going to ring some alarm bells, because where he started, he came from a position of, I'm defending my family, I'm sticking up for these boys, making sure that they're safe, and that the timeout that Wisconsin had called that started all of this was unsafe, and it lengthened the game for no good reason. So the fact that they end up with both teams in a full scrum is very counterproductive to where we began. Now, this all started at the end of the game with each coach taking shots at the other taking chances to get under their skin. The Wolverines were pressing up until the very end of the game, a fact that Coach Howard disputes in his post-game interview.
Just a follow-up, if you wanted the game to get done, why keep the press on against Wisconsin's backups at that point?
It wasn't a press. We was just 5 pressure defense, man-to-man. That's what 5 is for us.
But the footage would show that while maybe he was making a technical difference, it would be what a lot of us would consider a press defense. He even uses the word pressure in his explanation, so I don't know, maybe something got lost in translation there, but Wisconsin was apparently frustrated by that press and called a timeout with only seconds left in the game. This is what set Coach Howard off. He tells Coach Guard, "I'll remember that." Other words are clearly exchanged. By the time Joe Krabenhoft gets involved, Krabenhoft is also shouting. Juwan looked like he was already, Coach Howard was already at that level by the time Krabenhoft gets involved. The two of them escalate things. I don't know what was said that would cause Juwan to smack this man. No matter what it is, shouldn't have done it. But I have to think something was said more antagonistic than your run-of-the-mill basketball trash talk. So that remains the unsolved mystery to this whole situation. The other unsolved mystery is, how will the Big Ten react? How will Michigan react? Will Juwan Howard coach another game at Michigan? Personally, I don't think so. I at the very least, we're seeing a suspension for the remainder of the year, a potential firing. That being said, I do believe Juwan Howard will coach again. When you think of the likes of Bobby Knight, I know it's been a long time, but think of Rick Pitino. Again, these are completely different apples to oranges situations, but we have seen, especially in college sports, big name coaches with some drawing power and the ability to win over a couple of recruits tend to get second chances, albeit at smaller universities. So I fully expect that we will see Juwan Howard coach again. I would be surprised if it's at Michigan, and I'd be much more surprised if it's at Michigan again this season. But we shall see. Moral of the story here is, kids, adults, just don't smack people during sports. That's not gonna work for you.